Okay, let me tell you what driving actually is before the automotive industry forgot. It's that road you took because it looked interesting on Google Maps. It's the stops you didn't plan, you stopped in the middle of the way. It's pulling over at the top of the pass because the view demands for it. It's a conversation you get inside of your car at like midnight while you're just going on the motorway. It's driving your first car and the feeling you get from it. The point is, all what I'm trying to say is that driving is a relationship between yourself, the machine you're driving, and the road you're driving on. And that's what car culture is at its core. Driving for the sake of driving. And honestly, it's disappearing quietly and it's happening one crossover at a time. I think the last few years have been genuinely terrible for car enthusiasts. A lot of the favorites that I have are dying or becoming electrified and transformed into crossovers. And now it's culminating in the Ferrari multiple of sorts. It's a car that had a release so bad that the joke was going around was at least the Chinese won't copy this. For myself, I love cars. I've written a lot about my enjoyment of these machines, which fortunately or unfortunately have mostly been enjoyed via this money sink of a hobby of ours. Money sink or not, it's a hobby that is truly enjoyable, so I keep doing it. When you start paying attention to the trends that you see in automotive culture or automotive industry over the past decade, the cars that we love have been systematically been wiped out one way or the other, not through some grand conspiracy, just through the cold, indifferent mats of a market that decided they wanted crossovers and SUVs, big stuff with enormous touchscreens and no connection to the road whatsoever. When I see ads targeted to you on Twitch, and that happened a few months ago, where the cars are centered, or the ads are centered around the technology and the tablets and sound systems rather than actually the driving experience, which is generally the point of driving a car, at least in my opinion, I think something is totally wrong, and I could be wrong here. Then again, maybe there is a conspiracy because the cars I see feel like they were designed by people that actively hate cars, approved by people that constantly are thinking about maximizing shareholder value, while it's really not something that they can keep doing it because new players with big factories won't give a damn what happened to them. But that's a conversation for another video, likely fueled by a red wine binge. In short, the manufacturers followed the money and one by one the fun stuff died. The hot hatches, everything is dying, the Honda Type Rs, the Renault Sports, the Peugeot Sport kind of stuff, even the Fiesta ST, now it's a crossover via some Puma crossover. So everything is finished. And something is being lost, and I don't think enough people are talking about it because the influencer culture also has changed the way people look into the automotive culture. I've talked at a lot of length in the past about sim racing becoming some sort of digital automotive, a place where the cars that the real world discarded are still existing, still have a soul of sorts. But today I want to talk about something slightly different, not just about the preservation of the cars in digital format that you see in a lot of sims, and a lot of sims do it very well, but I want to talk about peak enjoyment, when the museum for the new and old comes together with just pure pleasure of driving for the sake of driving in any way, shape, or form. And this is where I think Forza Horizon 6 might be just that peak. I know that it's a hot take, but bear with me. Horizon 6 doesn't just feature car culture, it argues for it, and very loudly, even though sometimes it feels a little bit cringe. And in doing so, it became one of the best advocates for automotive culture we've seen in a mainstream game. But it does it kind of full spectrum because the cars are meant to be driven on roads with feeling. And it's not just circuit driving, it's really driving on roads. And I think Playground Games did something really quite remarkable with Horizon. They didn't just set Forza Horizon 6 in Japan because it looks good. It does look good, very well, very good. But honestly, Forza Horizon 5 setting, if you look at it, It wasn't really that fun to drive through. They built a game that treats Japanese car culture as something worth teaching people about and worth celebrating and worth preserving, and with that, the rest of the automotive culture well in one way or the other. But here's the point I want to make that I haven't seen anyone else make about this game. Forza Horizon 6 doesn't just preserve the car culture through its roster or race types, it preserves it through how it feels to just drive, and I'm not talking about force feedback here. This map, Japan in all its variety, it's designed to be roamed. And I know this sounds kind of obvious because this is an open world game, but Horizon 6 I think does it a bit differently because the road design is extraordinary. You have mountain passes that, you've seen it in Initial D, and then you have coastal highways with beautiful views, and then you have Tokyo's back streets that are generally fun to tread around, and there's this constant texture of interesting road underneath you wherever you go. You have the layouts and the views, and there's this frigging vibe, man. You don't need to look at the map. Heck, you don't even need to race anything. You can just drive because the roads kind of engage you. The curves invite you. The roads are there for your enjoyment. It doesn't matter if it's on a 80s or 90s JDM shitbox or something modern. It doesn't really matter. It's just a feeling of just going with no destination on a road that rewards you because you have driven in it. That's exactly what's been engineered out of this world. I was in Japan just last week and I desperately wanted to drive some of the scenery I was seeing around. I couldn't. Maybe next time I go there I rent a car, but I'm glad that I can do it in Forza. And you find yourself detouring to a mountain summit, not because there's a race there, maybe there is, I don't know, but because the roads looked like it deserved to be driven. You discover a coastal stretch you weren't looking for and just stay on it, and then discover a fishing village. You park on an overlook in the Japanese Alps and look at the Mount Fuji in the distance and feel something that racing games have no right making you feel. This mixes very well with the photo modes that people use it. I use it all the time, not just to flex, take cool pictures, but because it generally produces moments worth capturing. And if you are in Instagram, go search for Forza Horizon 6 photo mode and look at what the community is producing in terms of shots. It's really jaw-dropping stuff, and really that's the point. It's capturing the feeling of discovery. That act of driving and discovering is becoming more difficult in the real world as time goes by, but I think Forza Horizon 6 is keeping that feeling alive. Not as a simulation, it doesn't really matter if it's a simulation or not. It's as an experience, and that matters to me, and that's why I've spent so much time in Assetto Corsa free roams over the last few years. So what I'm trying to say is that sim racing has really become one of the last places where certain cars actually live, and they're not like in behind museum ropes, and I've been in a few car museums. They are alive. They are drivable, and they have some sort of personality, I guess to a reasonable virtual extent. But this is all before simulation fidelity comes into conversation, which again will be another video, if I ever do it, likely once again fueled by a red wine binge. Forza Horizon 6 extends that argument into the mainstream in a way that most sim-type tools never will, because those will be doing something different, and that's totally fine. Horizon, at the end of the day, is basically for everyone. You're going to have it in multiple platforms. I play it on a PC, and I think this is going to come later on this year to PlayStation 5, and a lot of people are going to load into Forza Horizon 6, and they're going to say, oh, cool, another Forza Horizon, let's have some fun. But I think this one is a little bit different than the other ones, including Forza Horizon 4, which was, in my opinion, actually quite good. But it didn't get that feeling of driving, at least not for me. And at the end of that experience, they're going to say, oh, I want to go on a road trip as well. And also some of these people coming into Forza Horizon 6 will end up looking at the story of some of the cars that are actually presented. For example, in some of the treasure hunts or whatever they are, like the story of the GTR, or because they were going to drive the Mount Haruna Pass, they're going to watch Initial D for the first time, and some are going to discover other cars like the RX-7 and become like really big buffs about the rotary engines. It doesn't really matter. What it matters is all of this conversation, or all of this, what Forza Horizon brings, is bringing people into the community, into the automotive culture. And this is basically culture that is being passed on in a language that a lot of people speak, which is something that is interactive and it's open world, and you drop in, drop out, it's casual, but at the same time it is engaging. All of this is preservation through exposure. Even though the cars are cool, we need to be honest with the current car world as well, because most of the newest unicorns are going to be bought by crypto guys as investments, and I'm using air quotes here, driven at a leisurely pace and to be shown, oh my god, I'm so rich, or just shown in a video as a prop to sell some online course about getting rich or something. Anyways, if you see stuff like this, kids, it's a scam. Let Uncle Random call sign talk you about it. So what Forza Horizon 6 does, and the Assetto Corsa does a fantastic job as well on its own, it's called bullshit and all of this and just let you enjoy the cars. And Forza Horizon 6 does it a little better in my opinion, because it fuses the car and the setting of Japan and just tells you to drive, to enjoy the road. And you know, you see that the cars are disappearing. The ones that I'm talking about have been disappearing from real worlds. The ones that taught us what driving could feel like, you know, you have it on a poster on your room. And these cars need advocates. They don't need influencers. They need people to care about what you can actually do with them, the enjoyment of the drive. And caring starts with knowing they exist, because cars are meant to be used and roads are meant to be enjoyed as well. So Forza Horizon 6 does a great job to make sure that people know they exist. Well, I think that's my personal opinion. Welcome to my TED Talk.